Hello guys, my name is Evans and welcome back to this video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm continuing looking at the February-March 2017 IGCSE ICT paper 1-2. In the last video, we ended on step number 6, rather question number 6. And in this video, we continue with question number 7. Okay, so question number 7 reads, explain the purpose of an intranet. Okay, so you guys, you must distinguish the between an intranet. You must distinguish between an intranet and an internet, or the internet. Okay, so an intranet and internet, you must distinguish between these two. So intranet is actually a restricted network. It's a private network. The internet is a public network. Okay, it's global network. It's an interconnection of networks. Okay, whereas the internet, rather the intranet, is a private network restricted mainly to let's say organizations. Okay, restricted mainly to organizations. So the purpose really of the intranet is for organizations. Okay, so the intranet provides platform for organizations sorry, so scroll down there. So for organizations to share their resources, this includes software, application, so resources, in brackets, let's say files, software, okay, with their with the employees, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the internet provides platform for organizations to share resources. Okay, other than that, the internet can also wow, it can also provide communication. So there are some companies who actually use their intranet for communication. They have set up an emailing facility, maybe a messaging facility. If they want to communicate to the public, instead of just sticking out a memo on the notice board, they actually send maybe a message, and it can get to the employees on their mobile phones, on their in their inboxes, on their email addresses and stuff like that. Okay, so it can also provide communication links or channels for employees. Okay, the other thing maybe that we can talk about, just looking at this. I'm trying to look at this one. An intranet can be used as a platform to keep updated information. Okay, so it can be used as a platform, not platform. Platform. It can be used as a platform for keeping updated info in the organization. Okay, I don't know what else I should write. The internet, because it's private, the intranet, okay, so let's see. The intranet can provide, okay, the intranet can provide privacy of data. Okay, why? Because it is a private network. It's not available to the public. Okay, so this is why it can be used to provide privacy of data. Okay, so I think for this one I'll end here. Let me go to the next question, which is question 8, expert systems. Okay, so question 8 says, describe how an expert system can be used to suggest car engine fault diagnosis. Now, the first thing that you need to know is to know what an expert system is. Okay, so an expert system would be, I would say an expert system is simply a software application that can stand in the place of an expert. Okay, it can be used by anybody. Okay, in this case somebody who's not an expert, and it will stand in the place of an expert. By that I mean it is a software that will have the knowledge that would have been given to you by an expert, and then you can use it in a way to fault find or diagnose something. I'm trying to bring it down to, I don't want to sound very technical about this, because we've not just been asked to define what an expert system is, but I'm just trying to give you the understanding of what an expert system is. So it is a system really that is built to mimic human expert or expertism, so to say. Okay, so you have examples of expert systems, things like chess game. You guys who play chess, I'm a chess player as well, so I challenge some of you guys to play me to play me chess online, so that we see who is who. Yeah, so I'm a chess player as well, so I love to use the chess master expert system to play chess on the computer. And so you see that this game actually, some of you guys, you've used games. I don't know if FIFA is an expert system as well. I don't know if those. I don't play FIFA anyway. FIFA, football, whatever you guys do. FIFA 18, FIFA 17. I don't play that, so I don't even know what goes on there. But I know students are very much into it. I don't know if what you do there is an expert system. If you try to kick the ball, whether the player responds because it's been programmed like that, or the player actually thinks on his own, like a chess game. Because in the chess game, you find the computer actually attempts to think based on the yeah, I think even at FIFA, your game is actually an expert system, because if you're playing the computer and you're trying to dribble one of the players for the computer, you see that the computer tries to chase the ball, and it tries to reason and calculate and do a tackle and kick the ball and stuff like that on its own, depending on the position of the ball. And to some degree, actually, most games are actually examples of expert systems. Okay, so let me now answer the question. Let's not spend so much time discussing this that we even lose track. Okay, so an expert system has got several parts in it. Okay, so the parts that I would want you to know is about the user interface for the expert system. So it has the user interface. It also has what is known as the knowledge base. It has what is known as the rules base. It has also what is known as the inference engine. It has what is known as the explanation mode or explanation module. So you guys, for you to understand or to answer this question, and by the way, it carries 5 marks. For you to understand this question, you need to know these 5 things that are found in an expert system. So for example, the user interface provides a platform for the user to do input, and also a platform for the user to see the response from the expert system. So interface would really make up the input and the output of the system. The knowledge base, this contains what are known as facts or solutions. Not solutions, but facts. These are research works that human experts would have input into the systems, like everything that the human expert knows, you go, you collect it, and you put it in a database, and then you feed it into a system, and a system will begin to search through this database in case someone queries. Okay, so for example, somebody goes there and says, well, I have a headache, and I have a back pain, and I have poor eyesight, and then the system would retrieve, go through the knowledge base and try to match some of the symptoms that exist in there, and then it will come up and tell you, well, such symptoms that you've mentioned, that is a sign of polio maybe. Okay, so the rules base is actually this contains the if statements. Okay, the if statements, the conditions, in other words. This is where all the conditions and comparisons will be based. Okay, the inference engine, on the other hand, is is a module that does all the comparisons. Okay, module that does all comparisons. Okay, so these are done based on the rules base. They're done based on the rules base. So what happens is that whatever the user inputs into the system, it is taken and it is compared with what is contained in the knowledge base, but using certain rules that are defined. Okay, you can't just start to compare, but there will be certain rules that must be obeyed. Okay, so the user inputs something, and then the expert system gets whatever the user inputs. It uses the inference engine and the rules base to try to go through the database or the knowledge base and try to extract where there's a match. What is this user trying to do? Okay, and then the explanation mode is actually a module that is the explanation module. It's a module that actually is used to explain how the system actually arrived at a particular conclusion or particular solution. Okay, and this is going to be output, actually, or it's going to be done and shown, printed on the screen as the outcome. So if you have a general understanding of how this expert system works, whether it's a medical expert system, it's a chess game, it's a medical expert system, or it's a car fault diagnosis expert system, it doesn't matter. The concept is the same. Okay, so let's go ahead and answer these questions now. So I'm just going to erase this. Okay, so now we can go ahead and answer our question. Okay, good. So in order for diagnosis for a car fault to be diagnosed, the user enters data about maybe the symptoms of the car, maybe. What a way of writing symptoms. About the symptoms of the car. Okay, maybe somebody would say, well, it just shut down on its own. I tried to start it, nothing, and stuff like that. So the expert system begins then to ask questions about those symptoms in line with what the user has said. Okay, so then the expert systems begins to ask questions about the user, maybe the user input. Okay, so it said, did your car stop maybe at this point? Did your car do this? So your answers will probably be yes, no, and it's gathering all that. Okay, and based on your previous responses, so based on previous responses, the expert system would say adjust questions. Okay, it's more like somebody says, click here if you are male. If you are female, click here. So you click on male. It tells us now the questions because you've said you are male. It now begins to tell us questions for the male. Okay, so that's what expert systems also do. So based on your previous responses, it's that just the questions so that you are able to give proper information it needs. Okay, so now the inference engine. This is where it comes now. The inference engine then compares the user input with contents of the knowledge base. Okay, contents of the knowledge base. Okay, using the rules base. Okay, certain rules must be observed. Okay, using the rules base. Okay, until there is a match that is found. Okay, so until there is a match. Okay, so when this happens, the expert system then suggests possible solutions. Okay, and also explains how it arrived at certain conclusions. Okay, so that's basically what would happen. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I'm sure we've said a lot about this question. Let's scroll down and go to the next question. Okay, Danesh has accidentally downloaded a file containing a virus. Okay, describe the possible effects on Danesh's computer system if he opens the file. Okay, so 2 marks. The possible effects of opening a file which contains is that the virus can delete the files. Okay, delete the files. It can cause maybe computer to crash or run slow. Okay, there are some viruses actually which make software redundant. Okay, can make software unusable. Okay, other viruses actually can make the hard disk kind of fill up where you don't know where the space. Imagine you have a hard disk which is 100 GB and it's showing you only 1% of space remaining, but you try to go through the videos and the files and all this other stuff that you save on your computer, but they don't seem to amount to that much space being used on the computer, and we tend to wonder what's happening with this hard disk, and not knowing that you actually opened the file which contained the virus and it began to fill up the place, the hard disk, and make the computer to actually, or the hard disk actually to look used up. Okay, so since it's just a 2 marks, I won't even go in detail there. So it can delete the files, it can corrupt the files, the virus can copy itself, duplicate itself and stuff like that. It can also copy, it can plant itself on a computer and start to send information from your computer to the attacker. Viruses are very bad. Okay, so you need to make sure that your computer is being scanned frequently. You have got an updated antivirus and the like. Okay. So describe how Danesh can help prevent his computer from downloading viruses from the internet. So again, I just mentioned a bit of those. So they can update the antivirus and run regular scans on the computer. Okay. Also avoid downloading things from untrusted sites. You know, human beings love things for free. So if you tell them that you have FIFA 20, let's say FIFA 18, and it's for free, you will see a lot of them flock to that place, especially people downloading from torrent sites. Okay, so torrent sites, most of them, they are infested with a lot of viruses. You go there on your own risk or at your own risk. Okay, so you visit a torrent site at your own risk. Okay, so avoid going to sites that are not protected, especially sites that compromise and the privacy and stuff like that of software developers. Okay, so also don't just open file attachments. So scrutinize or scan or check all file attachments for viruses. Okay, so check all file attachments for viruses. Okay, check file attachments for viruses. Also, you can also, yeah, I think that's I don't know how many points, 3 points. Maybe you can also avoid. I mentioned this. I don't know. Avoid downloading things from untrusted sites. Don't open untrusted emails. Untrusted emails or even pictures. Okay. etc. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll end here for this one. Let's go to the next question. So the next question, let's see, that would be question 10. Bank checks are sometimes used to pay bills. Okay, so question 10 probably will be the last question that I would do in this video, and then we can start another video with question 11. Okay, so bank checks are sometimes used to pay bills. Name 4 pieces of information that bank's computer may read from bank checks. Okay, so you know that bank checks, there are different characters or things that you can read from there. Among the things that you can read, maybe the account number. Okay, account number. Maybe somebody you're paying. Okay, so maybe the date also, the payee. You can read the amount. You can read also details about, maybe say the check number. There are so many things that you can read there. The transaction code and stuff like that. Account type, whether it's a current account, whether it's a deposit account, it's a savings account, and so on and so forth. Okay, there are so many things, but since we just need 4, these are enough. Describe what is involved in the clearing of bank checks, which the banks has collected in the course of the day. Now remember that banks, they do checks are processed outside business hours. Okay, so they are collected in a batch, and then they are going to be processed later on. So there are different types of checks. Of course, you know, there is digital check. Okay, and which is just basically a check that is online. it is in soft copy, it is filled or completed on the computer, and it is processed right from there. You also have checks that are on paper, which are the common ones, the old-fashioned or the tradition way of processing checks. Okay, so after you, at the end of the day, checks are collected and sent to a clearing center. So checks are collected and sent maybe to a clearing center. Okay, so because for some checks, people just write in their own handwriting the amount and stuff like that. So they mark the amount is read using an optical character reader. Things that are already printed on the check could be read. Things like the check number, the account number, and stuff like that. This could be already printed. So let's say already printed information on the check such as maybe account number, check number is read using the optical well, not optical mark recognition. Is read using the magnetic ink character recognition. Okay, magnetic let me just write in short. It won't fit if I write a lot of it, so let me just write is read using the MICR. Okay. Other things that maybe you can talk about is that things like the sort code or not the sort code, what I want to say. The check is scanned using the OCR and then later on stored and the like. But if you're using a digital check, then you need to rearrange your check in order, in account number order, sort of. Then the details of the check are encoded. Then you can use either MICR and OCR to read and store the information on the check. And also the checks then are sent. You can send the checks using a smartphone or ATM machine and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm trying to rush because I've used up so much time on this video as well. So I will continue the next video with question number 11, when we are going to start to look into a bit more practical. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video in a short while.